That's what is up there. I come to you with my weekly review of Gintama the manga, chapter 584. And this week's chapter is the long awaited fight, something that we've been waiting for since the Yoshiwara in Flames arc. And yes, it's Gintoki versus Kamui. Now, in this chapter, we have where these two are finally facing up against each other for the very first time, and it's been hinted at and basically predetermined by Kamui himself since his introduction back during the Yoshiwara in Flames arc. And of course, after Gintoki and Tsukio and crew defeating Hosen, the Night King of the Yato, Kamui has been interested in Gintoki ever since because of his strength and how he was able to face up against one of the strongest beings in the universe. And he was interested, and he said, no one is to touch his prey. And we all have been waiting and waiting. And of course, eventually we are here. Now, the way I thought about how this would have been happen between their fight, of course, they had to still deal with something with Kagura, of course, but I thought the person that would probably set it off or something of that, like something like that, if you get what I mean, it would have been because of Takasugi, not because of Yutsuro and with Umibozu being in the picture. I never would have thought Umibozu would have been in the picture, let alone the revealing of Yutsuro, who aka is Shoyo Sensei. So like I thought it would have been because of Takasugi and because you know how he and Kamui were somewhat of partners. Eventually Kamui would have eventually found Gintoki, and he Kamui was fighting Kagura and Gintoki intervenes and so forth. But it's still along the same lines with something dealing with Kagura, but now with Umibozu in this whole situation. Now, in this chapter, there was a funny part where Gintoki did bash his head against Umibozu. Of course, Umibozu is going to die. It's sad to say, but it is because of the injuries he sustained through his fight with Yusuro. There's no other way to say that he is going to die. He has a huge gaping hole from his side that's into the middle of his stomach. Like, I don't know how they're going to be able to fix that with a medical team. Like, where's the medical team at? Unfortunately, Umubozu is going to die unless they have some miraculous way to save him. And of course, throughout the entire fight between Kamui and Gintoki, it was basically Gintoki poking fun at Kamui. When you really look at it, it's like he was basically mocking him while at the same time telling him, in a way Gintoki does. He always gives inspiration, and he's always telling the facts, and how like Gintoki was saying, while you decide to run away, because when you look at it from Kamui's perspective, or better yet from Gintoki's perspective, and when you hear the story, you see the story, Kamui has been running away from his past. Okay, he could not deal with what was happening at home with his mother dying and his father in and out of their lives, and him having to be the big brother to protect his sister, and he could not take all of that. Eventually he crashed and burned, and he used the cover up of finding strength in order to run away from all the situations that has been happening in his life. And of course, that being thrown back in his face, of course he must have noticed that, but he didn't want it to be thrown back in his face, and it's being thrown back in his face in a very provoking manner by Gintoki. And of course he can't take that, so what does he do best? He throws a punch in Gintoki's face, enough that it should be able to break a normal person's jaw. Of course Gintoki is not the most normal person out there, and Gintoki lands a devastating blow to his stomach with his wooden sword. And of course, Kamui is a Yato, so he's able to withstand injuries, but still, I think something is damaged in his stomach. But like seeing through this chapter, we see like how we always say Gintoki is like a father to Kagura, and he really did shine through this chapter protecting her, because he's telling Kamui, you left and you go on this so-called quest to look for strength, and yet you never tried to fix things for yourself. You're trying to put blame on others, and you're not taking any responsibility for yourself. So while you're not there, I'm going to be me, Shinpachi, and everyone else. We're always going to be there with Kagura. We're always going to protect her and hold her hand. And whenever she has trouble, we will be there at every step in her life, every step and corner in her life. We will always be there. And it just shows you how much Gintoki truly appreciates and cares for Kagura and those who are around him. And of course, Kamui possibly cannot understand that because he has thrown away everything and yet is putting blame on everybody else for something that he has done. and something that he could easily fix. So the chapter with their fight was really amazing. The start of their fight was really amazing because they're going all out. And that's why all Gintama fights, they go all out. They go 100%. There's no pullbacks, no nothing. We're going blow for blows. And I cannot wait for next week's chapter. How I don't think it's going to conclude next week's chapter, but I want to see how this is going to come out and what sense Gintoki is going to knock into Kamui to make him start seeing things in a better light and telling him to stop running away from his insecurities and from his past and be able to actually face up to them and face up to his family and with the possibility of actually apologizing for all the trouble he has caused over the years. So if you saw this week's chapter of Gintama, please do tell me in the comment section below what you thought, what were your opinions of this week's chapter. The links are in the description box so you can click on those. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.